Hey everyone, welcome back to another week in our journey. If you're new here, let me fill you in. This is Behind the Design, our weekly series where I document my process in creating my own digital planner and building an online store from scratch. Each week, we dive into a new aspect of this creative journey, from idea inception to final touches. I'll take you through every twist and turn. Throughout this journey, I'll be working closely with Shay, the founder of the Digital Planner Academy program and the Pink Ink stationery brand, and I will be applying everything I learned from this incredible resource. You'll get to see all these teachings in action as we progress. We've got an exciting journey ahead of us, full of learning, exploration, and of course, a bit of fun. So whether you're joining us for the first time or have been following along, I'm thrilled to have you here. Okay, so let's dive into this week's video. Hi everyone, and welcome to week 5 of Behind the Design. We have loved all of the feedback that we've had so far with the series, and we're so excited to share the most recent updates and developments of me designing my digital planner. But before I get started with that, I can tell you a little bit about what I've been up to in week 5. So I had a little expedition to Hamburg because I'm staying in the rural countryside here in Germany. So I had to catch a train to Hamburg, and I had my first experience with the public train system here in Germany. And it was quite interesting, I must say, because there was a problem with the line. So all of the passengers are heading to Hamburg had to get off at a train station in the middle of nowhere and try and get connecting trains to the city. So that was quite an experience. And then I had 2 lovely days in Hamburg, just going around and being inspired by the city, cycling, and enjoying the weather, of course, which is quite rare to be here in Germany and be in the city and have such gorgeous weather. Reflecting on my creative interests, which I always recommend that really, whenever you have the opportunity to be inspired, whether it's big or small, go for it. Because there's so many ideas that can grow from just being inspired and finding things around you to give you new energy. So I went to an exhibition in Hamburg. I've always had an interest in the history of photography. I went to an exhibition of photos from the archives of Lee Miller, who was an amazing female photographer, one of the pioneering photographers for Vogue, and a war correspondent in World War II. So she really added such an artistic eye to her photographs that she took during the war. And yeah, it was really inspiring for me. And I left Hamburg with a new energy. When I came back to my apartment here in the rural countryside, I started playing around with alcohol inks as a means just to have a bit of creative expression. And that kind of flowed into my call this week with Shay. So week 5, we got into the discussion on digitizing my planner pages, which I previously sketched last week in the Concepts app. And I spent a lot of time this past week going through the lessons in Module 2 and Module 3 in DPDM. So that's the Digital Planner Design Mastery. And because I am focusing on Affinity Publisher instead of Keynote, I am reflecting a lot on the lessons in this course in particular because we focus solely on Affinity Publisher. So I feel I'm really up to scratch with Module 2, and I've spent a lot of my time this past week in Module 3 getting clear on layout, colors, types of pages, etc. as I go about digitizing my planner pages. So on my call with Shay, wow, we really saw an evolution of my planner from when we got started with the call till 2 hours later when we finished up our call. Okay, so do you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so it's my first, please go easy on me. I mean, this is the first draft, okay? All right, so first things first, let's go into the master pages.
Okay.
I wanted to say that my aesthetic changed, my color palette changed, just because I was fortunate to have such an expert eye in this digital planner design, and experience really makes a difference here. I could really see that my planner was a lot more aesthetically cleaner and just more easier on the eye. And I imagine that these small changes, such as considering that everything in the planner matches in terms of rounded corners for tables and boxes, to the size of the fonts, and not having an overwhelming color palette, really make such a difference. Especially when I consider my niche, that are creative professionals, they need something a bit more streamlined. So I really saw this evolution in my planner as me and Shay worked on it throughout my call. And then we had a really fun discussion where I was reflecting on how I could utilize these alcohol inks, these little artworks that I was making, perhaps as planner pages or as my main cover page, as well as the cover pages for each month of the year, right? At the beginning of January, February, I could have a cover page for that month utilizing an artwork. However, because I'm in rural Germany and I'm not at my home base, I don't have access to a really good scanner. So this limits me a bit. But I've reflected on it a bit, and I think I'm going to play around and see if I can get the same effect in Procreate. So that is my next step, and this coming week I will be working on playing around in Procreate and really honing in on my planner so that I am 100% happy with the style, the layout, and the colors. Okay guys, so that's all for this week. Thank you so much for watching our series, and I hope you keep learning and growing as you follow along with my journey. Okay, bye! Okay, so that's a wrap for this week. Thank you so much for joining me on this part of the journey. I hope it's giving you a glimpse into the creative process of designing a digital planner and setting up an online store. Each week brings new challenges, new victories, and a step closer to our goal. And you're excited to see how my digital planner turns out. Make sure you hit the like button and share this with anyone else interested in learning more about our journey. Remember, there's much more to come, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next episode. Together, we'll continue unlocking the creative journey 1 week at a time. Thank you for being part of this adventure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next episode of Behind the Design. Okay, ciao!